If you don't want to hear how I got into it with Canadians and Europeans on my Facebook page this morning, and I shouldn't say got into it, it's still in it. We're still in it. The comments are still, yeah. Then maybe this video is not for you, but also like maybe if you're Canadian or European, this video actually really is for you. Maybe there's some things here that you might want to listen to. So yesterday I had made a long video response to a creator named Eddie. He had asked, are we aware that there's 340 million of us? And like, why aren't we all striking yet? Why aren't there millions of people in the streets yet? And I tried to explain some of the very real logistical, cultural, social, economic reasons that we can't function the same way. Resistance does not look the same in the United States as it looks in European countries. I took Eddie's question as being in good faith because he said it was a genuine good faith question. A lot of people who saw his video and my video response did not take it that way. They felt that it was very condescending. And I think some of that perception was colored by other interactions that we in the pro-democracy resistance movement in the United States have had with folks outside the US. Lots and lots of interactions. So I posted this video to Facebook and it kind of popped off. And a number of Canadians and Europeans decided to use the comment section as their personal venting ground to air their grievances against the American people. And, I was like, okay, I'm a permaculture person. How can we take this conflict? How can we take this dynamic and address it in a healthy and productive way? Hang on, it's really storming and getting dark. Let me turn a light on real quick. Okay, before I get into the comments and the drama and try and take it somewhere helpful, I would like to point everybody to Charlotte in France. If you need an example of what it looks like to be a real good ally with the American people, please go look at Charlotte's content. Likewise, on a daily basis, I have folks from all over the world in my YouTube comments who are cheering us on, who are rooting for us, who are offering their support and their solidarity. So I don't want you to think because there are some emotionally dysregulated people who are scared and are lashing out at us, the American people, that they represent a majority of people around the world. That's not been my experience. If you are somebody outside the US and you are just leaving like a little comment, offering a little word of support, lending solidarity to us, I don't think that it's possible for us to overstate how meaningful that is. We are living in a country where our president wants to isolate us from the rest of the world, wants to make us feel friendless and alone. He's pissing off our friends and allies everywhere. That is on purpose. It is meant to isolate us so that it is easier for the government to control us. It matters more than I can express to hear that there are people around the world who support us and support the work that we are doing to resist fascism. Sometimes the comments from people offering love and encouragement, that's what keeps me going, right? Okay, with all of that being said, I posted my video reply to Eddie and I got comments. So this comment was pretty typical, grilling, demanding that we explain ourselves, that we present a report card. It reminds me of how when homeschool kids get grilled by people asking what are the 50 capitals? Tell me your multiplication facts. That's what this person did here, right? You've been talking about it for the past year, but what have you done? This is just an incredibly common sentiment. I demand that you explain to me, a Canadian or a European, everything that you are doing, or I will claim that you are not legitimately resisting fascism and you deserve Donald Trump. I had so many people in my comments who were like, y'all are getting what you deserve in the US. So, my response here, it's a whole novel. I'm just going to say it. It's supremely unhelpful to scold people and tell them that they are not doing enough when they are upending their entire lives and making significant financial and personal sacrifices. And people are going to prison and people are losing their jobs and people are making incredible, earnest efforts to defend against fascism. For you to dismiss their efforts because they are not performing in a way that is visible or pleasing to you is very concerning. I get this is coming from a position of fear. I get it. It's scary to have a fragile, aging narcissist running the most powerful country, arguably the most powerful country on earth, to have access to the nuclear codes. Okay, rest of my comment. Pretty sure it's a lot scarier for those of us in the US than it is for people in Canada right now. Pretty sure we understand how severe the issue is, and we have been earnestly organizing for a long time, and we will continue to organize. But to have people outside the country constantly demand we defend ourselves and justify our actions, and to be scolded and told that we are not doing enough by people who do not live here, who make comments that show they clearly have no clue what the resistance movement is doing and what it is like inside the US right now. It's exhausting. Especially when, like, low-key, y'all have fascism ascending where you are as well. Y'all have your own problems, but you want us to constantly prove that we're a legitimate resistance, that we're performing in a way that is pleasing to you. That's not allyship. That's asking us to take up our time and our energy to help you regulate your emotions, to help you deal with your distress. Because what you want is more results. What you want is some kind of performance of resistance that helps you, like, calm down a little bit. I'm not saying that's everybody outside the US. I'm saying those are the kind of folks in my comments to the tune of 335. Check that, like 635. So coming at it from the permaculture lens of, like, hey, if we're all in this community together, if we all care about democracy and stopping fascism, if that's what we're all allied around, then I'm going to offer a little bit of feedback here. Canadians and Europeans demanding that Americans resisting fascism do a little dance, provide an exhaustive list of our organizing to meet with your approval. We are resisting for our freedom, not as a performance for you. If you want to be our ally, if you want to help us successfully stop fascism in the United States, what does actual allyship look like? Because to me, it's not give me a report card, satisfy me with a list of performances that you're putting on. And I want to make it really clear here how many people don't think outside the US leave comments saying we're not putting up real resistance here in the States because they're not seeing massive general strikes and they're not seeing violence. Those were the two things that got repeated over and over in my comments. Cosplay revolutionaries who want Americans to satisfy their fantasy for violent revolution while they sit comfortably in the UK, in Canada. And likewise, all of the people who are like, if you're not doing a general strike, because, you know, in France, they're really good at striking, where they have universal health care, they have a much smaller country, they have an entirely different social safety net. We have none here. If American resistance doesn't look like what we see in France, then it's not real resistance. We're a little bit tired of that, y'all. That's not helpful. To me, allyship looks like people elsewhere saying, hey, what do you need? I really wish that the American resistance was bigger and had accomplished more. Maybe I need more realistic goals, but also, what are the ways that we can help y'all? What is the actual help that you need? What are the barriers that you need stripped down, torn down, so that you can take on bigger actions? Instead of, like, condescending, scolding, pontificating, telling us what we should be doing, how about, like, asking the boots on the ground, asking the people who are doing the work, what do you need? What kind of support would be helpful for you? If we're aligned, we have a common goal, stopping fascism in the United States, then how about we offer helpful help to the people who are doing that work on the ground? Again, I understand an awful lot of people in my comments, they're not actually interested in being allies. They're just wanting us to manage their feelings for them. They're distressed because the headlines are very scary, because the news is not accurately portraying what's going on in the United States. So people outside the US are hearing an awful lot of propaganda. Resistance is not being performed in a public way that soothes the agitation of people outside the US. So they want to take their dysregulated feelings out on us. That's how it reads to me when I read these comments. I felt compelled to say believing the only resistance that is happening is resistance that reaches your ears is wrong. Throughout history, most resistance actions were things you never heard of when they were actually happening, and you likely have never heard of them at all. Some of the most consequential acts of resistance are carried out by ordinary people, out of sight of the public eye and totally unacknowledged by the press. For those of us that are organizing daily, resisting daily, to have people outside the US say, you're not doing anything, it really fucking sucks. So if you want to be our allies in the resistance, you're entitled to your anger at our government, you're entitled to your fear. Please don't ask us to manage it for you. And if you want fascism stopped in the US, I would really encourage you to think about what it looks like to be an ally. Ask us what we need so we can continue to organize to stop this here in the US. And likewise, how can we help you? Because fascism, authoritarianism is creeping all over the globe. How can we help you? How can we be in solidarity with each other? I don't know. I hope something good can come out of this conflict.